Hello everyone, welcome. It is Monday, July the 13th. Oh, look what I have now. I have a mic support. So now my mic's closer to me and I can speak more quietly without shouting. So hopefully the audio is better for you guys. Let me know if it's better or worse. Don't be afraid to give me feedback in the comments. I am feeling very professional with my new mic here. But if you're new here, we play Clues by Sam every day on the channel, and it is a daily puzzle where there are 20 people on a board and we gotta find out who is a criminal and who is an innocent. And if you subscribe to the newsletter where you go here on the homepage or the daily puzzle page, you can see a subscribe section right below the puzzle. You can type your email address, and then every Monday you're gonna get a newsletter from Sam with some behind the scenes, some news, and some stats from the previous week, and also bonus puzzles with ranging difficulties, and sometimes some community puzzles selected by Sam themselves. So it's very nice to be able to play those with you. I usually select the hardest one from the bonus puzzles and play with you on Mondays here. So we have an easy one and a very hard one. And today, Sam also attached a video from somebody else, Leonid, who also does Clues by Sam tutorials, and they did the hardest difficulty as well on their channel, so I'm gonna put the link for that as well. If you want to watch that, it's more of a straightforward tutorial, whereas my videos are more of a play with me and we may make mistakes on the way there. But it's all part of the fun, solving it with you guys, and I hope you enjoy. So let's start with the easy one for today. We start with Xavier telling us that no instant in row 4 is in column A. Okay, so two things, row 4 here and column A. So in row 4, column A, we have Paul, and he's not an innocent. And that's all that Xavier's clue tells us, so we click on it to dismiss it, and it goes sort of dimmed, and it doesn't catch as much attention anymore. Now, Paul says that only one of the two criminals to the right of Jerry is Gunny's neighbor. So, to the right of Jerry here in row 3, there's Larry and Mary, who neighbor Gunny, who is in row 2. Larry and Mary have among them one criminal. So either Larry or Mary are going to be one criminal, so we tag them both with the same color here to indicate that whatever one yellow is, the other yellow is going to be the opposite. And there's two criminals to the right of Jerry, right? So the second one has to be Olive, the only person to the right of Jerry who doesn't neighbor Gunny, and we know that she is a criminal now. Just double checking that we're talking about criminals here. Since we tagged Larry and Mary and the clue doesn't give us any more information beyond that, I'm gonna dim Paul's clue as well. And Olive says that both criminals above Zulu are connected. So Olive herself is above Zulu and she is a criminal. So that means that the second criminal from the both, we know it's 2. The second criminal is gonna have to be connected to her. So it's gonna be either Ivan or Susan, the only two people connected to her who are also above Zulu. And similar to her situation, Evie is not connected to her, so we're gonna have Evie be an innocent. And we don't need Olive's clue anymore because we have tagged Ivan and Susan with the same color as well, so we know they are opposites. Evie says there is only one innocent to the right of Larry. So now Larry has two people to his right, Mary and Olive. Olive is surely not an innocent, so the innocent has to be Mary. And since Mary was opposite with Larry himself, then Larry is a criminal. So we get two people with that one clue. And Mary gives us a new one. There are exactly two innocents in her row. Okay, so row 3 has Jerry, who is the last person who could be an innocent. And we need one more innocent to make 2. So Jerry has to be that innocent. We don't need Mary's clue anymore now. Jerry says that there's an odd number of criminals in column D. We know how many criminals are above Zulu, right? There's 2. 2 is not an odd number, so we need one more person in column D to make an odd number, 3. And Zulu is the only person left, so he has to be the third criminal here. We don't need Jerry's clue anymore. Zulu says that Kita is one of 3 criminals below Carol. So Kita is a criminal here in column B. And there's 2 more people below Carol who could be the third and last criminal. So those two are going to be opposites, right? Because whatever one of them is, the other one's going to be the other. And we don't need to lose clue anymore because we have tagged Gunny and Vera here as opposites. Kita says that each column has at least 2 incense. So we have 1 incense so far in column B, although that person is not revealed yet. Either Gunny or Vera are going to be 1 incense, and there's only one more person left, Carol, in column B. So Carol has to be the second incense in this case. And I'm going to leave Kita's clue here because it reminds me that each column has to have 2. And so far, column A doesn't have a second one, so it might be a clue that disambiguates a situation in the future. Carol says now that one of the 2 cooks has an incense directly above them. Okay, there's 2 cooks here, Dennis and Hazel, both of them in column C, and both of them one above the other. Not both of them. One is above the other one. But Dennis doesn't have anybody above him, right? So the other cook has to be the one that has an incense above them. So in this case, Dennis is an incense. And we don't get anything else from Carol's clue, so we dismiss it. Then it says that row 2 is the only row with exactly 1 criminal. So we're talking about row 2 now. And row 1 could be in a situation where it has only 1 criminal if Betty were a criminal. And if that were the case, we would have 2 rows with 1 criminal, which Dennis is saying that can happen. So Betty has to be an innocent in this case. And there's no other row who's at risk. Well, row 5 is at risk of having only 1 criminal, so we're going to leave Dennis's clue there. Betty says that all instances in row 2 are connected. So how does that help me? We know there's only 1 criminal in row 2. Could that criminal be Gunny? If Gunny is the single criminal in row 2, we know that everybody else, in this case Freya, Hazel, and Ivan, would be incense. But that would break Betty's clue that says that all incenses in row 2 are connected, because now Freya and Hazel are not connected and both of them are incense. So we couldn't have Gunny be a criminal. And similar to him, we couldn't have Hazel be a criminal because the same situation would happen. Now Ivan and Gunny are incense who are not connected. So Hazel has to be an incense as well. And we know now that Ivan and Freya are opposites because one of them is the single criminal in row 2. We don't need Betty's clue anymore though. Hazel says that only one of the 3 painters has an incense directly to the left of them. So 3 painters are down here, Paul, Kita, and Vera. One of them doesn't have anybody to their left, Paul. Kita has Paul to her left, so she has a criminal to her left. So that means that Vera has to have an innocent to her left to be the one painter that has an innocent to their left. So Umar is an innocent now. And we don't need Dennis's clue anymore. We don't need Hazel's clue anymore. And Umar says that there's an equal number of innocents in rows 3 and 4. Rows. We know that row 3 has 2 incense. That means that row 4 has to have 2 as well. So we know that both Raul and Susan are incense. And we don't need any new clues because Susan was opposites with Ivan. So Ivan is now a criminal, which makes Freya an innocent, and we are done this puzzle. Very good. Very good. Only half of the people get a perfect solve. This was really easy. Really easy. I hope I could explain every mechanic there well enough for you guys. And we're gonna jump into the evil one for this week. So today we have July 13th's evil one. And I'm gonna pause and restart the timer just for the sake of it. And we start with Ruth telling us that Sam is one of 3 incense above Wanda. So Sam is an incense. There's another 3 people above Wanda and 2 more are incense. Now Sam says that column B is the only column with 4 incense. So we have 3 incense above Wanda. Wanda has to be the 4th one. And she says there are exactly 2 criminals to the right of Ruth. So either Tom or Uma. Oh, both Tom and Uma have to be criminals, because the clue is talking about criminals. Tom now says that one of the 4 criminals neighboring Olivia is above Megan. There's only one person neighboring Olivia above Megan, so it has to be a criminal, Isaac in this case. And there's 4 criminals neighboring Olivia, so 2 of them we already know about. There's 2 more to find. Uma says there is only 1 instant in row 3. Okay, we're gonna keep that in mind. Isaac says that Laura has exactly 3 instant neighbors. Where's Laura? Okay, so there's a lot of things to put together here. Column B is the only column with 4 instants. What does that do for me? There's 1 instant in row 3. If that instant is Olivia, that will make Megan and Phil both criminals, and that's all of Olivia's criminal neighbors because we know she has 4. So Jason and Katie would both be innocents. Now, that would make Celia a criminal because we know there's 4 innocents in column B. And Kita a criminal because we know there's only 1 innocent in row 3. Do we know something else? We know something about column B being the only column with 4 innocents, but there's not a conflict with that in our current scenario. But the thing is, we know something about Laura. Laura has exactly 3 innocent neighbors. So both Dana and Ethan would have to be innocent for Laura now. That doesn't break anything either. Can I then try to change this? If I make both Jason and Katie criminals, that already breaks row 3 because both Megan and Phil would have to be innocent for Olivia, and we know there's only 1 innocent in row 3. So Jason and Katie can't both be criminals. We know they can both be innocents because we have just tried that. Can I ever make Kita an innocent? Because if I do, I don't know who to look at, but if I do, this whole chain happens with Phil, Olivia, and Megan being criminals and Jason and Katie being innocents. Now, we will need Celia to be an innocent because of row of column B. And it doesn't really matter for Laura. Maybe what I have to do here is make both Phil and Kita criminals, because that would force Katie, Dana, and Ethan to be innocent for Laura. But that doesn't really tell me anything. Sam is one of 3 innocents above Wanda, so we have to keep that in mind, first of all. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm gonna have to get used to this. So column B is the only column with exactly 4 innocents. Do we maybe prove that Laura couldn't have all of her 3 innocents be here? Oh, she couldn't because of Olivia, right? Because that would make Megan and Jason both be criminals, and now we have too many criminals in column B. So at least Ethan or Kita need to be innocent. That's one thing I learned. If I make Olivia an innocent, I force Celia to be a criminal, which is okay. Right? Is Jason always an innocent? No, I just proved that he could be a criminal. Didn't I? If I make Jason a criminal, both Celia and Olivia are innocent, which is okay. I think the key is in Katie and Phil because they are shared by Olivia and Laura, so maybe I can prove that both of them are not criminals. Can I? Yeah, because if both of them are criminals, then Laura has too many criminals. So they are not both criminals. And they are not both innocents, are they? Because if both of them are innocents, we have too many criminals in column B. So they are for sure opposites. And Katie and Phil being for sure opposites makes Jason and Megan for sure opposites as well for Olivia. What else? Do I get from that? We know now that column C has one innocent. If we know that these guys are opposites, do I perhaps check that Olivia is not an innocent now? Because if she is, she blocks nah. This doesn't break. Sam is one of 3 innocents above Wanda. I think I'm missing something. Column B is the only column with exactly 4 innocents. I think this has to do with it. One of the 4 criminals neighboring Olivia is above Megan. So this is only telling us about the 4 criminals neighboring Olivia. And there's only one innocent in row 3 is important. Can that innocent be Kita? If that innocent is Kita, then it's okay. It's perfectly okay. I don't see what's breaking. I'm panicking. I don't see what's breaking. Can Phil be an innocent now? I mean, can Megan be an innocent? Because if Megan is an innocent, Jason's gonna be a criminal, which would force Olivia to be an innocent. And now we have 2 innocents in row 3. And why would Jason being a criminal force Olivia to be an innocent? Because we know there has to be 4 innocents in column B, which means only 1 criminal. So Megan couldn't be an innocent. So that was crazy. That was crazy. But it gets us 2 new clues. So Megan says that exactly 2 of the 7 criminals on the edges are Sam's neighbors. So now we have 7 criminals total on the edges. And One of them is Megan, who is also Sam's neighbor. So the second one has to be either Vance or Xavi. And we're gonna leave that there. Jason says that exactly 2 innocents in column C have an instant directly to the right of them. Okay. In column C, there's 2 innocents with innocents to their right. What does that mean for me? Phil, if Phil is an instant, he's not gonna have an instant to his right for sure because there's only 1 instant in row 3. And Katie would be a criminal, so we wouldn't have a second instant here to be able to have an instant to their right. I know that Celia and Olivia are opposites, but that doesn't really matter for what I'm trying to do now. We know that Laura has to have 2 more instants neighboring her, so if Phil is an innocent and Kita is a criminal because of Phil, then Dana and Ethan will be one of the couple of innocents. If Phil is a criminal, in any case, Kita being an innocent makes it so that if Phil is a criminal, Kita could be an innocent, but that would make it so that there isn't the couple that we need here. And Xavier and Zoe would have to be the second couple, and Katie and Laura would have to be the first. That's one thing. But now we have 4 innocents in a second column. Unless Ethan is a criminal and Dana is an innocent. Which could be. Okay. Another thing that I notice is we know that there's 2 innocents in column C with innocents to their right, so there is 2 innocents in column D, which are the people to the right of people in column C. So there is 2 innocents here in column D. How many people do we have on the edges who are criminals already? Because we need to have 7. And we have either Vince or Xavier, that's 1. Uma, 2. Megan, 3. Isaac, 4. So we need 3 more people. And we know that one of them is not in column D. Because there's 2 people here in column D who are innocents. But Dana could be one of them. I don't know. Very evil. Very evil. Column A is not at risk of having 4 instances anymore. I don't think I need this clue anymore. I don't need roofs because we have tagged Celia and Olivia. Can I maybe try and make Olivia an instant now? Because if I do both, Phil and Kita, I'm this is like the 10th time I'm trying this out, but I really do need. I need to know. Like, now we have one of our couple of incense in column C and column D. That's good. Laura would always have to be an incense. Unless both Xavier and Zoe are incense, which Laura could be a criminal in this scenario, but now, how many criminals do we have on the edges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we could have a 7th one here. We will have Celia. So it's not that. What is it? Yell louder. Let me know. 2 instances in column C have an instance directly to the right of them, and we know that one of those instances is for sure not Phil. It could be Katie and Laura. Could. I mean, I know that we could not make Dana and Ethan both criminals, like, because one of the criminals, the neighbors Laura, is either Katie or Phil, so they are for sure not both criminals. And if they are both innocents, I think this is not what I have to look at. I just feel it. I have tried making Kita an innocent. When I did that, did I prove that Kita couldn't be an innocent? And just ignored it? Was that what I did? Was it? Because now Dana and Ethan are opposites. And maybe we don't have enough people being pairs of innocents on the edges. On the edges in column C and column D. We could if Katie and Laura and Xavier and Zoe are pairs of innocents. This works. How many criminals do we have on the edges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, not enough. Not enough. So Kita can't be an innocent because it breaks the innocence on the edges. Call me in the act. In the act of making me confused. Now we know that Dana and Ethan are for sure opposites. So if they are opposites, they are one more pair of criminal. One more pair. They are one. Back. Go back. We know that Bill and Kita are for sure not a pair of innocents in column C and column D. We know that Dana and Ethan are not a pair of innocents in column C and column D. So where are the pairs? It has to be Katie and Laura and Xavier and Zoe. There's no other possibility. Since we have to have 2. And why are Dana and Ethan opposites? Because Katie and Phil are opposites. Dana and Ethan are not opposites because Laura has only 2 criminal neighbors. So Dana and Ethan are innocents, both of them. So they are one of the pair. Ooh, sorry if you're mad at me there. There are more innocents in column C than column D. Okay. That's good. There's 2 innocents so far in column C. And there is going to be 2 innocents in column D because we need a second pair of innocents in column C and column D. So we need a third innocent in column C. That has to be Xavier. Okay, that was very good. Very nice. I like it. Xavier gives us a new clue. Uma has at least 2 innocent neighbors. Where's Uma? Uma has 1 innocent neighbor who is Xavier himself. She could have a second one be. Well, at least means that she could have 3. But we know that if she has 3, if both Phil and Zoe are innocents, now there's 3 innocents in column D as well as column C. Because we Is it? No, there's two. Laura would be a criminal in this scenario. Go back, go back again, because we know that there's only two instances in column D, right? It doesn't matter who that is. What matters is that there's one criminal here in column D on the edge. So how many criminals do we have on the edges now? We have Kita, Uma, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our seventh one is either Ben or Celia. So these guys are opposites as well. But the thing is, if Phil is an instant now, we would need Zoe to be an instant. And that would work because we have two pairs of instants in column C and column D. Does it work with Zoe being a criminal? If Zoe is a criminal, Phil will be an instant because Uma needs at least two instants. And now we don't have enough pairs of instants in column C and column D. So Zoe has to be an instant. And that makes Laura a criminal. Now Laura gives us a new clue. Phil has at least 3 instant neighbors. So that makes Katie and Olivia opposites. And Phil not an innocent, because if Phil is an innocent, both Olivia and Katie are criminals. And then Phil ends up with 2 innocents only. So Phil has to be a criminal, which makes Katie an innocent. Katie is not opposite with Olivia necessarily. So what do I know here? Because Laura says at least 3 instances. So Olivia has to be an instance. Because row 3 has 1 instance. So now Celia is a criminal and Ben are less innocent. Okay. So that was really hard there. 24 minutes is pretty great. I thought I was taking like an hour already. It felt like a lifetime. But sometimes I'm not really sure where I go next. And I start to panic internally. And I just, there's a lot of things happening in my head. And I'm like, oh my God, this is taking so long. People are getting bored of seeing me. And I'm just like, I don't know where to look next. And the more nervous I get, the harder it is for me to find the next step. So it's very interesting for me, both the making the puzzle and the whole experience of performing and doing it live with you guys. Like, it's always so fun. But it's a very interesting exercise for me and a very metacognitive study of myself. I'm sounding crazy right now, but trust me, it makes sense in my head. But yeah, it makes it a lot of fun. So I always like doing these with you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Comment evil if you reached the end here and if you did solve the puzzle as well. And yeah, leave you here for today. Let me know about the audio too. Let me know about everything. Let me know how you are. How's your week? I'll see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. And I'm gonna be making use of my new thing. Really excited. Bye bye.